Hello, and welcome to the Untitled Gen X podcast.
A podcast hosted by two childhood best friends dedicated to the pop culture that raised us.
I'm Kate, a writer, a midwife, a current-day pop culture know-nothing. But nobody puts baby in a corner when it comes to the pop culture of my youth.
And I'm Lori, a writer and pop culture lover who's still not over how my so-called life left us hanging.
Happy almost New Year's, y'all. And as we know, it hasn't been our day, our week, our month, or even our year. And since we can't ring in the new year with friends in real life, we figured our TV friends, Monica, Chandler, Rachel, Ross, Joey, and Phoebe were the next best thing.
Yes, we're talking about my comfort show, Friends, specifically season 5, episode 11, the one with all the resolutions. Hey, Kate.
Hey, Lori.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. It's almost New Year's. How are you feeling about it?
I'm ready to put this year to bed.
The dumpster fire that is this year.
And I'm trying to have faith because everybody is like, oh, 2020 is the worst year ever. We just need to get through it. And I'm like, but is the devil better or worse than the devil you don't?
Yeah, I've never really subscribed to the whole put the year to bed, brand new year, it's a fresh start, everything's going to be amazing in the new year. I've never been a believer in that. I'm like, look, every year brings its challenges. But I do think we can all agree 2020 has brought many, many, many challenges. Many challenges we weren't quite expecting.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. I have been looking forward to 2020 for 18 years. My son graduated high school this year. 2020 was going to be a big year for him.
Congratulations to your son.
Yes. 2020's always been like this year that the families look forward to. This is his next big step in life. And of course, he didn't get a traditional graduation. He didn't get a prom. He's doing school online and he hasn't stepped foot on campus at all. And so it's been weird in a lot of ways because while everyone's like, oh, 2020, the start of a new decade, I'm like, yeah, for a lot of people, it was going to be the start of their next chapter, but it's different.
But it's the different. New chapter.
It's the new
kind of new chapter. Yay.
What do your New Year's plans look like this year? It feels stupid even asking people, but do you have a special New Year's tradition? Do you create maybe a vision board for your new year? Do you have any sort of best practices or routines, rituals that you do to bring in the new year?
I don't. My New Year's go one of two ways. Either I'm at a party with my friends, which happens some of the time.
Right.
Or I'm in bed asleep at midnight.
Yeah. We usually get together with friends and don't stay till midnight because I don't like to be on the road with all the people who've been drinking. But I used to work with this woman. She was hilarious. I was in my early 20s and she was probably in her mid 60s. She was near retirement age and she was a single woman. And I remember she used to tell me every year around New Year's, she's like, the only way to ring in New Year's is to have sex at midnight. I do it every year. It's something I'm committed to doing. And it is the only way to bring in the new year. It's the only way. And I just remember being like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. She would tell everybody.
She's talking about sex.
She's talking about sex. She's a woman of a certain age. I was a prude in my early 20s, I suppose, because I was just shocked by that statement. But she subscribed to it. And you know what? She might not be wrong. She was a believer.
Okay, so I'm just going to say to everyone out there, if there is a person in your COVID bubble that you enjoy doing that activity with, do us all a favor. And just to be sure, at midnight, go ahead and do what Lori's former coworker suggested.
Will it turn around the year? Maybe. I don't know.
I don't have anyone in my COVID bubble, so I can't help with this one. And this is not the time to be adding people to your COVID bubble.
No.
No kissing on New Year's this time if they're not in your COVID bubble.
Don't start now.
No.
Please.
But if they pre-exist in if they've been pre-approved for your COVID bubble.
Pre-approved.
then, it couldn't hurt and it might be fun. I mean, I guess hopefully it doesn't hurt. Right?
Oh, God.
I mean, if it does hurt, please stop.
You're the midwife. You can
Right.
give the advice.
Having lubricant on hand is never a bad idea.
Oh,
but yes, if
wow.
it does hurt, please stop.
And the podcast took a turn.
Sorry. This happens when I'm in conversations. It's me. It's my fault.
It's all that work in sex education. It's okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do.
Well, speaking of kissing at midnight, let's talk about Friends. Okay, so as you know, this is my comfort show. I literally watch it every single night before bed. I've seen this episode and every episode probably 10,000 times. It's one of those shows that I watch it every night. And sometimes I don't really watch it. I'm looking at it and I'm looking at the colors and I'm hearing the sounds, but I'm not really watching it.
And it has a distinctive sound, like my comfort show, Gilmore Girls. It has kind of a cadence to it.
It does. I don't know. Something about the purple walls I find soothing. I don't know why.
Picture, the picture behind the TV in Monica's apartment. It feels like you're at a friend's house.
There you go. It's aesthetically pleasing to my tired eyes every night. So in this episode, which, by the way, let's just start here. It aired on January 7th, 1999 to 27 million viewers.
That's a lot of people. This is a popular show, huh?
Who would have thought?
So weird.
Who knew? This is brand new information. The Friends this is season 5. They made $100,000 an episode. I believe that by the end in season 10, they were making $1 million an episode, plus all that money from syndication. So the Friends are doing all right.
I mean, they were sadly underpaid this season, clearly. But
$100,000 per. When we think about holiday episodes of Friends, we always go back to Thanksgiving because it's such a big Friends thing. Friendsgiving, right? But there's actually 3 New Year's episodes of Friends. Did you know that?
I do now.
Yeah. So there's one in season 1, episode 10, the one with the monkey. This is when they all make pacts not to bring dates to New Year's, and yet they all bring dates to New Year's, and Ross doesn't have one. So this is when we're introduced to Marcel. I wasn't a fan of the Marcel storyline.
Yeah.
It was awkward. So Marcel was Ross's date. And of course, there's this episode. And then there's the one, you and I, we both love this one. The one with the routine, season 6, episode 10. This is when Joey's new roommate, Janine, the beautiful Elle Macpherson, invites the gang to dance on New Year's Rockin' Eve. And this is when we see that brilliant dance routine between Ross and Monica. That is just so iconic.
Right. They're lovely, graceful, filled with talent dance routine.
Good one. That's a good episode.
It is. It's funny.
But we chose this one because of 2 simple words: leather pants. And we'll get into those leather pants. Well, we won't get into those leather pants.
Nobody's getting into those leather pants.
Ross has got to get out of those leather pants.
Yes.
So we open on a New Year's Eve party in Monica's apartment. It's 1998. So we are getting ready to ring in 99. Chandler tells Joey. Now, keep in mind, Joey's the only one that knows about their secret relationship right
just
now.
To bring you up to speed, if you're a little behind on your friend's timeline, this is where Chandler and Monica have been having a secret affair.
Since London.
So we haven't even gotten to they don't know that we know that they know that we know that all of that. So that hasn't happened yet. Right now, only Joey knows.
Only Joey knows. And being the keeper of that secret, that's a heavy burden.
I was trying to consider, did we ever have any secrets like that among our group of friends? Or was I the one that didn't get to know, and now I still don't get to know?
Well, let me tell you on the podcast in this really public forum. No, I don't actually think I've ever been the keeper of a really big secret like that.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I am still the keeper of a secret about a crush that you had in middle school, and I have never told anyone, I'm proud to say.
Wow. Sometimes I think about him and wonder how he's doing.
Yeah. And you all will never know who it was, because I'm not good at keeping secrets, which is really something that you want in a healthcare provider.
Well, I'm actually great at keeping secrets for no other reason than the fact that I have a terrible memory. Like, someone will tell me something and be like, don't tell anyone. I'm like, that's cool. I already forgot. Like, legit.
You're like, what was that secret you told me?
I don't remember. So it's good. So Chandler tells Joey, look, I want to kiss Monica at midnight, but I can't because nobody knows. And Joey, who was really, did you notice? He was wearing, by late 90s standards, I mean, this sweater that he was wearing, it was so Cosby.
Was it the one with the boxes on the front, or is that later?
That's later in the episode. This had like weird squiggly lines on it. It didn't look like something Joey would wear.
Interesting wardrobe choice.
Yeah. So Joey tells Chandler, you know what? I got you. Like, basically, I'm a good wingman. I'm going to figure this out for you. So Joey goes to Ross and he's like, who are you kissing at midnight? Because you can't kiss your sister. And Ross is like, who's kissing my sister? And Joey's like, Chandler. And Ross is like, oh, man. Joey's like,
my best friend's kissing my sister?
Right. And Joey's like, who do you want kissing Monica? Me or Chandler? And right. He's like, good point.
Good point. Yeah. Okay.
Good point.
Yeah.
I think Joey is a better kisser than Chandler.
I would imagine so.
He's had a lot more experience. So Ross chooses Phoebe. Fine. Joey goes to Rachel and he's like, I'm going to kiss you at midnight. And she's like, why? And he's like, well, you can't kiss Ross because of the history. And like, who do you want to kiss, me or Chandler?
Good point. Good point. Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, okay. Okay, true.
Yeah.
So it's finally midnight. We ring in 99. Monica and Chandler get their kiss. And once the party is over and everyone's gone, Ross says, I'm going to go out on a limb and say no divorces in 99. Woohoo!
To which Rachel has to remind him that his pending divorce to Emily, is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah, because
Emily.
he said Rachel's name during the ceremony. So that's still pending. So then he's like, only one divorce in 99.
Which, as it turns out, this actually isn't his only divorce in 99, because later Ross and Rachel drunk Mary in Vegas and have to get divorced that same year. So he is the king of divorces. Divorces are Ross's thing.
That's what he does.
He is the guy that likes to get married and divorced. So two divorces in 99. Woo!
Did you notice that Ross made like multiple resolutions? Like, he didn't name them all as resolutions, but first he was like, only one divorce in 99.
Yes. Okay. So that's one. And then he says, I'm going to be happy this year. That's two.
Yep.
And then he says, every day I'm going to do one thing I've never done before. That is my New Year's resolution. So actually, Ross, you've had 3 resolutions.
Right. You've made
that's a lot.
3. Yeah.
Like, I can't even manage one. Have you ever made a resolution and actually like saw it through for the duration of an entire year?
That's so funny. No, I have, like, there was a time in my youth when I perhaps was less jaded than I am now, where I would be like, yes, I'm going to start working out. And like me and like all of the other million people you know, who descend upon the gym January 1st would be there. Right. And then at a certain point in my life, I scrapped the resolutions, but there was a time in my life where I did go to the gym pretty regularly. And then I would just dread New Year's because I was like, oh, now, because I would swim at the gym and I was like, now, like, the pool is going to be so crowded for like 3 weeks and then it's going to be fine. But I would like to be able to continue my training program during those 3 weeks. And it's going to be really challenging.
These are the Johnny-come-latelys. Yeah, I don't think that I've ever made like a distinct resolution. I have done things strangely, like in January. Maybe it's that whole new year, new mindset. I want to start a healthy habit. I have done that, but I don't like to call it a resolution. I feel like that's too much pressure.
It just jinxes it.
It does. Like a couple years ago, I decided I was going to start walking and I started doing that in January and I have kept on with it for a couple of years now.
You have.
Yeah. I'm a serious walker.
She is. She's a serious walker. She has a coyote whistle.
Yeah. And you know, I have a coyote whistle. I had a situation once where I was surrounded by 3 coyotes and I was alone and it was really, really terrifying. But it's something that I've been able to keep up with, but I didn't say like, this is the thing I'm going to do this year. It just kind of worked out that way.
It just happened.
It just happened.
And, you know, interestingly, I also don't have like a ritual that I do, which I'm all about that sort of thing, about like marking time with some sort of like,
I feel like it would have like some sort of lunar significance for you. Like you're
I
very spiritual in
know.
that way. And I feel like the new year with the moon.
Right. But it's not always, right? Because like our calendar isn't on a lunar calendar.
Okay.
So it's not always like a new moon or a full moon at,
Okay.
and yeah. So I really don't.
And you know what? Maybe better that way. I mean, I feel like if we put too much pressure on the end of 2020 specifically, we're just bound to be disappointed in 2021.
Right. Nobody pressure 2021. We need 2021 to feel as relaxed as possible. It's very important. Treat it with kid gloves.
I do think we might scare 2021.
Right. Don't scare it. Don't be like, oh, we're so glad you're here.
Don't come on too strong.
Just be like, oh, hey, 2021. Cool.
I'm breezy.
I'm breezy. Yeah. Just be like, did you want to come to this New Year's party? Sure.
Because like you could totally come, no pressure.
No pressure. Like, come, don't come. It's really
fine.
all the same to us.
Plenty of food. It's cool. Like, come, don't come. We hope you do come, but like,
we'd love to see you.
We'd love to. We miss you.
We've been waiting. We've been waiting for you, but no, I mean, like, but it's fine. Much. No pressure. Just cool. Everybody be cool.
Cool, man.
Don't scare 2020 away. No,
yes, don't you just jinxed it. I don't know where
I didn't. This can be edited out.
Where's the wood? I'm serious. Okay. Are we cool?
Wood. It's real wood. It's real wood. We're totally cool. Please, y'all, don't scare 2021 away.
Yeah, 2020 can like hit the road, Jack. Okay, so
moving on.
Moving on. So Phoebe has some redonkulous idea that she's going to pilot a commercial jet, whatever.
That's her resolution.
Yeah, it's Phoebe. Chandler makes fun of her and she's like, you know what? Maybe your resolution should be that you don't make fun of your friends because Chandler does make fun of his friends.
He does. Chandler's the guy who like doesn't like to be teased, but he likes to tease everybody else.
He can dish it out, but he cannot take it. Guy. Ross says like, Chandler, who are you kidding? I bet you $50. Well, at first he's like, I bet you $50 you can't go a year without making fun of us. I'm like, I would not take that bet. A year is a really long time. That's not worth $50 to Chandler. But then he says, you know what? Forget that. I bet you can't go a week. Bet you can't go a week. He's like, please, I got it. Joey's resolution is to learn how to play the guitar, and Phoebe offers to teach him. And Monica, I don't know, Rachel says something gossipy, and Monica says to Rachel, I think your resolution should be to gossip less. Okay, so Rachel's our gossip. Interestingly, later we go on to learn that Monica's resolution is to take more pictures of them together, but apparently, I think it might be in the DVD. Monica had actually, it's a cut scene, and Monica had actually made a resolution about being less like type A.
Oh, that's a good one for her.
Yeah, it is a good one for her. That would be like a resolution that I made and wouldn't be able to keep. And then like something happens, I think something spills, I don't know, something catastrophic happens and Monica freaks out because that's just who she is. That's just who I am. Type A.
I wonder why, like, did they just feel like they had too many subplots going on? So they got rid of it?
Maybe because the whole like take more pictures. I'm like, all right.
I know. Because at first I was like, wait, what was Monica's resolution? What was it? And then I remembered, it was take more pictures. And I mean, at least at this point in the story, her and Chandler have this thing going on. I do feel like there's a lot of points in Friends where like Monica's character, you're kind of like, oh, poor Monica.
I read this years ago, back when Friends was on. Like TV Guide did a poll asking people like, who's your favorite friend? And like, Monica was like rated the least likable. And that made me sad because I'm definitely most like Monica. I'm like, oh,
I'm totally like Monica.
Yeah, I'm a Monica.
Like that episode where Ross dates the messy girl.
Oh my God, I love that episode. It's so good. It's called The One with the Dirty Girl. I don't know what season it is. Oh my God, Rebecca Romaine.
Yeah, and like at the end, Monica like shows up at her door with all her cleaning supplies, and I'm like, that would be me.
Yes, I heard there was a mess in here. I'd like really like to help you out.
I dated a guy once who was pretty messy, and in fact, when we first started dating, he would not let me come to his apartment. And at first, I was like, "Are you married?" Because
oh yeah, I mean, I would think that too.
Yeah, like at a certain point, I was like, and he's like, "No, I knew you were going to think that. I'm just really messy." And
like
he
how
wasn't kidding.
Messy? Oh. Like what are we talking about here?
It was bad. It was like
Hoarders bad, just
not like
dirt, like never
hoarders,
ran a
like
vacuum, doesn't own a vacuum.
no. So this was really interesting. He had so many cleaning supplies.
Oh, Lord.
I have an appropriate number of cleaning supplies that I use, and then I buy more when they're empty, and that's how it goes. But I was like, for him, like, this is his issue. This is like when I go to the grocery store and I buy a bunch of healthy food, and then I eat takeout all week.
Okay.
So, yeah, I actually once spent a whole day at his house just because I was
I
like,
actually remember this, Katie. You
yeah.
and I were on the phone for like 4 hours that day, just talking, shooting the shit, and you were cleaning hardcore. And you were
Yeah.
just like, I can't believe it. It was like a lot.
It was like, and the thing was, like, he wasn't a hoarder. He just
like you were consolidating things and you were like
and like
deep cleaning.
I
And
was doing a lot of deep cleaning, and I mean, and it was lovely when I was done with it.
was he able to maintain it?
He did, yeah. I hope that whoever he is with now appreciates all of my hard work, because that, I think, helped him to turn a corner.
And that's really positive. It's funny that you say that because some of us have just grown up cleaning our whole lives. I have probably the cleanest mother. I have Monica times 1,000 as a mom.
She does. They talk about like someone's floor being clean enough to eat off of. And I think most of the time when you hear that, you're like, ha ha ha. Yeah. No, like her mom's floor, I would eat off. Like her mom's floor is possibly cleaner than my plates.
Okay, so she's super clean. So I grew up in an environment that was very clean. And my mom, I was always responsible for cleaning my own bathroom and keeping a clean bedroom. Remember how she used to call me in from playing and we would like dump out every drawer I owned and we would clean?
Yes. Yes. And you had a lot of chores. Like I can remember like you like emptying the kitchen trash and like taking that around to the whole rest of the house to get all the other trash.
We did that every day. Like we dumped trash every day. Like there were things that we did in my house. And so I grew up learning how to clean and learning how to clean. I guess I'm using floppy finger quotes here properly. But, this is not something that people just grow up knowing. It's not instinctive. It has to be taught. And I have 2 boys. They have their own bathroom. It is the most disgusting place on the planet.
Boys' bathrooms are icky.
It's gross. I cleaned it for years, but then they reach a certain age where I'm like, I am so tired of cleaning this bathroom and having you guys just destroy it because you don't know the energy or, how gross it is when you don't keep a clean bathroom. So I've made them start cleaning their bathroom and they didn't know how to clean it. When I first asked them, please clean your bathroom, they both stood there. I like took out the things. They had the rags, the sponges, everything, and they didn't know how to use these things. So it sounds like with this ex of yours, it's like he probably was just honestly never taught how to do it.
He literally came in one time when I was cleaning the toilet and said, "Oh, it never occurred to me to clean anywhere besides the bowl."
Oh, Lord. You know what? There is pee behind the toilet. I mean, I'll tell you, there's
pee everywhere.
There's pee everywhere.
Everywhere.
There's pee all around the floor.
You have to clean the floor.
You have to clean behind the tank. Like, I don't know why.
You clean that whole zone.
Oh, yes.
That whole zone.
The entire throne needs to be cleaned.
Back to Friends.
So now we're at Central Perk and Ross gets a pretty blonde girl's number.
That's his new thing he did today.
Yeah, he got a girl's number and she wrote it down on a napkin. And Chandler reads her name, and it's Elizabeth Hornswoggle.
Hornswoggle.
Swoggle.
And let's all remember that Chandler can't make fun of anybody or it's going to cost him $50.
Right. And he's about to implode. Like the name is just more than he can handle.
Right. Although I do have to say, who gives their full name to the person they're giving their phone number to that they've just met?
It was safer in the 90s.
I still didn't do it in the 90s.
I don't know that it was safer in the 90s. I don't know.
there was the internet, but it wasn't quite what it is today.
When you think about it, like you used to have to give your number to people. Like now you would just give an email. Like if you met someone, you'd be like, if you didn't feel comfortable, I don't want you to have
I think what
number.
the kids do these days is they're like, they give them like their Instagram.
Yeah, this is my social handle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slip into my DMs. We'll do it that way. So Phoebe begins teaching Joey how to play the guitar, but she doesn't want him to touch the guitar, like God forbid. And she says, I don't know the names of the chords, which is actually untrue because in earlier episodes, she does know the names of the chords, but that's okay. Like, we'll let it go, Phoebe.
Right. But it is a funny episode because she just names them all like bear claw, old lady,
turkey leg.
I try to play the guitar. I'm not particularly good at it, but like you do have to put your fingers into these weird shapes to
Definitely.
play chords. I support you, Phoebe.
Yeah. And Chandler witnessing this is like, well, some might find this amusing. I find it regular.
Regular. I find it regular. It's great.
We have a friend that uses the phrase medium. It's like, hey, how's it going? Medium. How was it? Did you guys have a good time? It was medium.
And in reality, a lot of life is medium. But we don't tend to say that. We're like, it was great or it was awful.
It was medium. Medium is the equivalent of fine. Yeah,
fine is it was fine.
Which honestly, fine is never fine.
Right. I was going to say, if you ever ask me how I'm doing and my answer is, I'm fine, you should be very concerned.
So we then see Phoebe and Rachel, and Rachel's wearing a leather jacket. This is like heavy leather episode. And it reminded me, leather was like kind of a big deal in the later 90s. I mean, it's been a big deal in various forms, but like in the 90s, that whole like Wilson's leather era, to have like cool leather jackets in various colors. Like a nice Merlot leather or like an olive. So Phoebe and Rachel end up going back to Monica's, and Monica and Rachel's, they're still living together at this point. So Joey shows Phoebe, like, I've been working on my guitar skills. Like, this is my old lady hand. And she's like, ooh, have you been practicing? And she finds out that he stopped by the guitar store. Gasp.
And touched a guitar.
Yes. Well, she finds out because she smells his hands and she's like, oh, strings, which, you know what? Strings do smell.
Mm-hmm.
They do. There's a very distinct.
It's true. Your hands smell weird after you've held a guitar.
So she gets mad at Joey and she's like, do you want to learn to play the guitar? Then don't touch one. So they're all there in the apartment and Ross comes in with Ben and he is wearing a blousey blouse.
Yes.
And black leather pants. And Chandler's like, oh, Ross is wearing leather pants. People like Ross don't generally wear these kinds of pants. See? And he's like pointing at his butt. They're very tight.
Does no one else see that he's wearing leather pants?
Like his head's about to explode. Like first it was Hornswoggle. Now he's wearing leather pants. Like I just cannot with you, Ross. I'm dying here. You're killing me dead.
Right. And then Ross says, oh, there's this leather shop that I pass all the time. And I just thought it smells so good. And I've never had a pair of really good smelling pants. And he like says this as he's looking at Chandler, like,
right.
But right. I have to say, and I thought about this and I thought, have I ever had a pair of really good smelling pants? And the answer to that is no. I've never owned leather pants. My pants have a very neutral odor, except...
Well, corduroy doesn't really smell.
I may have a lot of corduroy pants. I'm a child of the 70s.
You're crunchy. You're granola.
I like
girl
corduroy.
Loves her corduroy.
But it did jog my memory that there was a situation once where I had to go to a big box store and buy some clothes one morning because I did not have anything to wear that day. Like whatever I wore.
Was it like a walk of shame situation?
No, I was.
Damn, that would have made for a good story.
I just grabbed a pair of jeans from Target and those pants for the entire time that I owned them smelled like mothballs.
Ew.
Like it didn't matter. At first I was just like, oh, this is what happens when you pull pants off the rack and wear them. But no, it didn't matter how much I washed it, what I washed it with, vinegar.
I don't like
nice
that.
Smelling things, mothballs the whole time. So Ew. I have not had good smelling pants, but I have had gross smelling pants that had nothing to do with me making them smell that way.
I don't know that I've ever had good smelling clothing, but I have worn leather pants. Katie, I wore leather pants as a pregnant woman to a Prince concert.
And this is why Lori will always be cooler than me. Always.
I wouldn't do it now. This was 2002. So apparently, this episode aired in 99. Leather was a thing. It's really probably the coolest thing I've ever worn or done.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think I peaked in 2002, pregnant.
Right.
I don't know what that says about me, but I think it's all been downhill from here.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's possible my coolest days are yet to come.
I don't think the best of me is still hiding up my sleeve.
Is that John Mayer?
It is.
Yeah.
So, okay. The friends are like, we like the pants. The pants are cool. And then Chandler leaves and the friends are like, we don't like those pants.
No, they're bad pants.
Yeah. But Ross was kind of like, yeah. But then he decides to wear them on his date with Elizabeth Hornswoggle. So I'm like, if your friends say the pants aren't awesome, why are you wearing the pants?
Because he's going to do one new thing every day this year. And he's on day 2.
Okay. All right. Whatever. So this is when we learn Monica's resolution is to take more pictures. That's really boring. Phoebe's quizzing Joey on the names of the chords, and there's more, Katie. There's tiger and dragon and iceberg. And he's trying to remember like iceberg, and he's like, iceberg, G sharp. And she's like, G sharp? Have you been studying the real names of the chords? And they get into an argument because you know what? He's questioning her methods because they're a little out there, just like Phoebe. And he pulls out the yellow pages to find a real guitar teacher. And I was like, the yellow pages.
So many phone blasts from the past in this episode.
Yes, it was. There was a lot of phone work. It was very phone heavy. And those yellow pages, what a waste of paper. I mean, it was all we had.
Yeah, it's what we had to do. But like, it's so weird that all of our names used to just be and like sometimes people's addresses, like your name and your address and your phone number, just so right crazy. There in a book for anybody to look up. Online dating has turned me into like an internet sleuth. I can find almost anyone with like really scanty details about their lives. Like, I'm remarkably good at it.
A lot of people become like armchair detectives and like solve cold cases. I decided that I was going to do that in my old age because I'm a real lover of true crime.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
like, yes, we have to use these savvy skills.
Right.
For the benefit of humanity.
Yeah, like somebody just cracked the
Zodiac.
The Zodiac killer. Yeah. I mean,
the cipher. That has been a mystery
impressive.
for a long, long time. I could talk about that in great detail, but this is an episode about friends.
And New Year's, not murder.
Kind of murder 2020. Get it out of here.
But just don't scare away 2021.
Okay, yeah, agree.
Gentle.
So Rachel's now in the apartment and she goes to pick up her giant ass cordless phone to make a call. And she overhears Monica on the phone.
Because remember, like if you picked up a landline and someone else was already on the line, you could hear what they were talking about.
You could, but like when someone else would pick up a phone,
you'd hear it click.
Generally hear them picking up the phone, but okay.
Right. But not if you were good at it.
Rachel knows nothing about it because
clearly
she hears Monica say, I can't wait to be with you. I'll sneak over. I'll just tell Rachel that I'm doing laundry for a couple of hours.
He says, laundry, is that my new name?
You know what your nickname is, Mr. Big. And then Rachel literally screams before she hits the hang up button. Did you catch that?
I totally caught it. And I was like, here are two people who are terrified that others are going to find out about their little affair that they're having. And I mean, it's a very Rachel scream, right? It's a very characteristic. Also, Monica's like just in the next room. So she'd be like, oh, I just heard that in stereo. What?
That's true. I didn't even consider that. More evidence.
I guess we just have to suspend our disbelief and imagine that that's not what happened.
So we pan now to Ross's date, and he's at Elizabeth Hornswoggle's house. And man, for a first date, like she already invited him over to watch a movie. It's like, right. Forward. Okay, Elizabeth Hornswoggle. And they're snuggling on the couch watching a movie. And Ross is very, very hot in his leather pants.
Like I have had that issue on a date where I have made a clothing choice because it looked good.
Yeah.
And because I'm a fall wardrobe kind of girl, my favorite time of year is fall when I can wear like a sort of cute undershirt and then like a nice cozy like cardigan sweater kind of thing over it. I enjoy that look immensely.
With some boots.
And sometimes I jump the gun on it a little bit because I'm like, oh, it's chilly in the morning. It'll be fine. And then I'm just miserable. But often it's like that I have a tank top on underneath and I don't really want to like have the tank top on for the rest of my date. And so I just sit there and I suffer. Like if you get into like a private space, you're like, oh, air, bring on the air.
Right. And like if you've been drinking some wine, you're already feeling hot. And then he's snuggled up to her and things are getting hot and not in a sexy way. They're getting hot in a, as my husband calls it, a swamp ass sort of way. I don't know if it's like predominantly something that happens to men or it happens to lots of people. I sweat on my upper lip. This is the place where I sweat the most.
That's funny because I sweat like around my hairline. So that, and then it's awful because it's like, then it looks like my hair is wet,
Ew.
or greasy or
Yeah.
something at that
Uh-huh.
spot. And like, I'm like, no, it's just perspiration.
I'm not even talking about like I'm working out sweaty because when I'm working out, I'm sweaty everywhere. But like
Right.
just if
No,
I'm
this is
hot in
like,
an
I'm
environment,
hot. I'm like overheated.
yes.
Yeah. That's where it, like around my temples and like my
And underboob.
hairline.
Underboob.
Oh, underboob. Yeah. Underboob's a
It's
thing. If, unless you
yeah.
have like the right bra on, if you have like a bra that like settles in just the right spot, you can avoid that.
Okay, I've never had that because underboob is always an issue.
I bet it depends on the size of your breasts and whether you can sneak some material under there and have it stay put.
Oh God, it's such a thing.
We could edit that out.
But why? That's just more work. So back to Ross and his swamp ass. He goes to move on the couch and his pants make this horrible like fart sound. And
Right.
he's like, it's the pants on the couch. And Elizabeth looked really cute though. Like she was wearing, did you clock it? A crushed velvet, like baby doll dress in this like really cute lavender. It was very Delia's. Do you remember Delia's catalog? It was a
Oh, yeah.
big deal in the 90s. Like when the Delia, I don't even know that I'm pronouncing it right. Yeah, Delia. When the Delia's catalog would come out in the 90s, it was everything.
Was it Delia's? Delia's?
Delia's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Delia's. But she looked really cute, but Ross did not look cute in those leather pants. So
No, and he was super sweaty.
and Ross excuses himself to the bathroom and he pulls down his pants because his pants are on fire.
So
and
hot.
oh, sweet relief. It is cool in this bathroom. He sits on the edge of a cold tub. He's like, ah.
Which like I feel like you like feel his relief. You're like, oh yeah, that would feel really good. Like,
So he goes to put them back up and he's like,
well, first he goes to the sink because he can't get cool enough. So he goes to the sink.
Yes.
And like I'm sitting there going like, don't add cold water. Like that's a bad idea. Cold water is not going to help this. But he does.
He does. And then he can't pull his pants back up. And he's
No.
like, okay. So he calls Joey for help, which was an interesting choice. I don't know that I would call Joey
Well,
for
he
help.
didn't. He called Chandler for help, and Chandler wasn't home.
Oh, so
So
Joey
in his
answered.
panic, he was like, "Sure, I'll take
Okay.
Joey. I need somebody."
Okay.
Which Joey is good for a lot of things, but
Like a kiss at midnight.
right?
So he tells him, I got really hot. So I took off my pants and they must have shrunk from the sweat or my legs expanded from the heat. And he sounds like he's going to start crying. And he's like, I can't get them back up. And I was thinking to myself, like, I don't know that I've ever gotten, okay, that's not true. I have gotten stuck in clothing. I haven't gotten stuck like I couldn't pull something back up. I've gotten stuck where I couldn't get out of something. This happens to me regularly with sports bras. I have a really hard time getting sports
bras are
off.
hard.
They are. And it's like if you weren't already sweaty before, damn, you are after you get that sports bra off because that is a workout in and of itself.
It is a shame that we don't have an endorsement because I actually have a sports bra that I really like.
Just shout them out. Shout them out. They deserve to be heard.
Yeah. So She Fit, like it was all over my Facebook. And one day I was like, I'm going to try it because like I had decided to take up jogging
but not as a New Year's resolution.
No, this was like a midsummer resolution. And so I was like, I'm going to need a better bra. And so I thought, well, I'll try it and we'll see because I have not had great luck with bras. But the magic of this bra is that you can tighten it and loosen it like super easily. So like you can make it a little,
I love that.
And it zips up in the front.
I love that. Like an easy release after a difficult workout. Like I need to be able to take
like
off
you
my
can
clothes
just
easily.
let them free.
Yes, this
Like,
shouldn't
set
be
them free.
workout part 2.
So She Fit, good job.
We love you. So there was a time where I was stuck in a dress at Forever 21. But this Ross situation is so much worse because Joey asks him, like, is there powder around? It'll help absorb the moisture. You'll be cool. He's like, there's baby powder.
Right. He's like, powder, there's powder.
He puts so much baby powder
right.
all over. Like he's just shaking it all on the inside. I'm like, what do you think? You are wearing black leather pants, man.
Right. And it's going to be like all over her bathroom.
Yeah. Like this is not a good plan. And he tells him they're not coming on, man.
You know, what's so funny though? Like as I'm watching this and he was trying to like pull his like black leather pants over his skin. All I can see is like OJ trying to like slide that glove over
If
his
it doesn't
hand.
fit, you must acquit.
And I was just like, oh yeah, I'm having flashbacks to that.
So Joey asks if there's Vaseline because, petroleum jelly is the answer to this. And he's like, well, I see lotion. I have lotion. Will that work? Like he's so desperate. And then he puts lotion all over.
But there's this funny moment where he puts it back by his bottom and he's like, ooh.
And then he clocks himself in the head with the lotion, which was actually an accident. And it was so funny that they decided to leave it in the episode. Like that was not written in the script. It just happened.
And he's just a mess, right? He's got like this paste of lotion and baby powder like on his forehead and his hair all over his pants. Like he's a mess.
You know what? David Schwimmer is so good with the physical comedy.
He's really like Ross is such a goofball, right? And like he really commits to that as an actor.
He does. I love it. He's so good.
Embraces all of the goofballiness. But I think we all have times where you're like panicked about something and you're trying to make it better. And like everything you do just makes it worse. And you're like, oh.
Speaking of which, we have to talk about this. So this date, embarrassing situation, everything gone wrong, reminds me of a viral blog post that my dear, dear friend, Anna Lynn Thomas wrote. She's amazing. She's a writer. She's an author who has a book coming out next year. She's a podcaster. She's a humorist. She's an amazing friend and human being. But she wrote this viral post called "The Fart That Almost Altered My Destiny." And Katie, I shared it with you.
You
How
did.
funny is that?
I was dying.
Okay. It went viral for damn good reason. And
yeah,
what it's about is Anna went on a first date with her now husband, and it was a good date. It was going well. And she had been eating a certain diet. She'd been having this like healthy lifestyle, whatever. And she went out with this guy. She really, really liked him. And they went out to eat. And she's like, I don't want to be that girl that doesn't eat on the date or eats my like picky food. I'm going to be the cool girl, right? I'm going to eat. I'm going to drink. I'm going to be merry. It's going to be awesome. And they have this awesome time. They eat all the things. They drink all the things. They go shopping.
He buys her really nice shoes.
Yeah, he buys her really nice shoes. Then suddenly she starts getting some stomach pain. And she's like, oof, my stomach kind of hurts. And he's driving her home and she's dying because she has such terrible gas. And she's like trying to hold in this horrible fart. She says, quote, "My God, help me. I have a horrendous fart on deck. I'm in trouble, big trouble." And she's like, people, hear me. There was nothing I could do. As impressive as I am with sphincter control, this was out of my hand. Slowly, it eked out. The more I tried to stop it, the more it forced its way through the door. Okay, wait. I'm sorry. She's like, however, to my pleasant surprise, there was no sound. I sat silently, sweat accumulating above my upper lip. Just like me, she's a lip sweater. Okay.
And if only sound was all you had to worry about.
Right.
Like,
she's like, okay, I'm cool. This is okay. She's like, okay, maybe I got away with it. Maybe I'm home free. Then it hit me, Katie. Then it hit me. Not an idea. A cloud. A horrific fart cloud. Not in a, am I smelling something sort of way? More like in a, is someone dead and rotting in your trunk? And am I in hell sort of way? You guys, we will link this post in the show notes. It's so worth your time. It went super viral. It's been shared a billion times for very good reason. You've got to check it out.
What comes after this? I was dying.
Okay. It gets worse from here. It doesn't get better from here, you guys.
No, it gets worse. So much worse.
And shout out to Anna's husband for saying, this girl embarrassed herself so much on this date, and I love her all the more for it. And we are now married and have 2 beautiful kids. And check her out, Anna Lynn Thomas.
This, as a single girl, this has become the new standard by which I will judge all men that I date. If I did that to you on our first date, would you react like her husband did? And if you wouldn't, bye-bye, we're done.
Nice. So let's see what happens next.
So she says to Ross, hey, my favorite part is coming up. who doesn't pause the movie when the person you're watching it
good
with
call.
on your
Didn't even
first
catch
date
that.
gets up to go to the bathroom? Because like at one point she like knocks and she's like, I feel like it's starting to get weird.
Yeah, like you're starting to freak me out. This is when Ross is like, I give up. Like there's no answer to this. So he finally comes out of the bathroom holding his leather pants and like a lotion powder pasted ball. He's just holding it. He's just wearing underwear. And he goes, I had a problem. Phoebe and Joey are at Central Perk, and Joey apologizes to Phoebe for telling her her teaching method was stupid. We go back to Monica and Rachel's, and everyone is in there. Ross walks in a shirt and underwear. And I'm thinking to myself, why didn't he go home to change first? Like, doesn't he live like across the street? They go over to Ross's all the time to like, I'm going to grab a whatever. I got to do the thing.
Isn't that later that he lives across the street?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, he moves
living
into
right
like
now?
Naked Guy's apartment eventually.
Is that later?
But no, because he must live there because that's how he finds out about Chandler and Monica.
That's right.
So he must live there by this point. I don't
know, but I'm just like, you could either walk to Monica's or take a cab to Monica's, or you could take a cab home. Right. But he didn't. He decided to go into the apartment wearing his underwear, no pants on. Right. And he's just super defeated. He's like, this year was supposed to be great. And I'm like, dude, we all felt this way this year. Like it was supposed to be great. It was supposed to be great. And he goes, I'm a loser. And this is when Monica tells him, Ben doesn't think you're a loser. Look, he drew this picture of you. And it's of him as a cowboy because of the leather pants.
Right.
And he's like, oh, like I could be a good cowboy. Like I'm good. I'm good. The leather pants are good. Right.
That's my favorite part. I would make a good cowboy. He absolutely would not.
And so Monica then decides this is a great time to do laundry. And then her and Chandler scoot right out the door. Yeah, Chandler's like, I'll join
laundry. Yeah. So which made me think of euphemisms for sex. Do you recall that when we were in high school?
Coffee.
So we had two distinct euphemisms that we used to refer to people having sex. And one was making coffee. They're making coffee. Why?
I don't remember why. I just remember making coffee.
The other one was going to Michigan.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I don't know where that stemmed from. Do you?
Do you know why I didn't forget about it?
No.
We were in Southern California when this happened. Yeah. And so going to Michigan was sort of just like this random weird state in the middle of nowhere that we picked. And then I moved to Wisconsin. Do you know what state is right next to Wisconsin? Michigan. Actually, I also lived in Ohio. You know which state is right above Ohio? Michigan. So it was a very commonplace thing in my life for people to say, we're going to Michigan. And every damn time I was like, he.
Like a 12-year-old. Stupid. We invite you, listeners. Feel free to use it.
Yeah.
So Rachel's now left with Joey.
Okay. So she knows what's going on, right?
Right.
And she's promised not to gossip.
Right.
So she's like, Joey, and he's like, no. And
I don't want to hear it.
He's like, I don't want to know. And so she, because I'm sorry, we have to backtrack just a little bit. This has come up before between them. When did we talk about this? When she hears them on the phone, she runs over to Joey's house.
She did. And she's like, I have a problem. It's so huge. You have to promise me you won't tell anyone. And this is when he plugs his ears and he's like, la, 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 la.
And then he's still doing that when Chandler comes home and holds the chicken up to his face.
Yes.
Now Rachel and Joey are alone in the kitchen. And so she's like, but if you figured it out and I didn't tell you, it wouldn't be gossip. And he's like, yeah, okay. So they're kind of walking around each other, trying to decide. And she's like, would you go over there's a book in Chandler's bedroom that I would could you go get that for me? And he's like, now? You want it now? And she's like, yeah, is there a problem with getting it now? And he's like, no problem. And he's like, you don't know anything.
Well, this is when he asks her, do you know something? And she's like, do you know something? And he's like, I might know something. She's like, I might know something too. And they know, they think.
And then they give each other the side eye.
Right.
And then he's like, you don't know anything. So then she's like, I don't then I'm going to go over and get the book. And then that's when he's like,
and he's so happy that she knows because finally, he's not alone in this secret.
Yes, he can talk about it with somebody. But then he's like, but we can't tell anybody else. And then, of course, that's when Phoebe walks right in.
This season actually has a lot of really memorable episodes. Early on in the season, Phoebe gives birth to the triplets. And then there's also the one with Ross's sandwich. My sandwich. I love that episode. And there's the one where everybody finds out, which is probably my favorite episode. This is when really Phoebe tries to seduce Chandler.
Is that the one where she's like, great, it will be very fun. I'm very bendy.
I'm very bendy. And she's like, I'm looking forward to having, what does she say? Like
sexual intercourse with
you. Sexual intercourse. I'm looking forward to making coffee. To going to Michigan.
I'm looking forward to going to Michigan with you.
So all in all, it was an awesome episode. And it was a new year that begins like so many do, kind of with a cluster.
We have left out a final plot line, which is that all this time, Chandler has been holding back every joke that he wanted to make.
This is true. This is on the end credits. Yes.
Yeah. At the end credits, he comes in, he gives $50 to Ross, and he just like lays into everybody with everything he wanted to say. One of them is, Hornswoggle? Are you dating a character from Fraggle Rock? Which is just like so great.
So good.
Yeah. So I just had to throw that in there that he finally cracked. This really is an enjoyable episode. Like when we started talking about which New Year's episode we were going to do, I was like, we have to do the one with the routine. Oh my gosh. But honestly, like this one is so funny. And I had remembered so many parts of this episode. I just didn't remember that it had anything to do with New Year's, which is kind of funny.
In truth, it doesn't actually have a lot to do with New Year's Eve per se, but it does have a lot to do with the way resolutions kind of tend to go.
Right.
Right? Like this is what we can come to expect in January. Any grand plan we make in December, I will say, and I feel like it's worth saying, and I hope that other people have their own positives about 2020. Like the year was hard. The year was hard for a lot of reasons, and some people were impacted so much more. Okay. And I want to be sensitive and definitely hold space for that. But I will say the year wasn't entirely terrible, at least not for me. It did bring some really positive things. Like we started this fun podcast and it's been a real joy in my life to get to do this with my best friend. We laugh a lot. We're revisiting a lot of classics and it's just been an awesome creative outlet. And people have been so supportive and generous with listening and subscribing and rating. And we love you so much.
We love you.
And like people say, like, we love you, but like, no, like we love you in a weird way.
We do, like in a slightly uncomfortable, slightly inappropriate way. No, like it's been really like the support that we have gotten from people has been incredible. And we appreciate that.
And 2020 brought it.
Well, and I was just thinking, you know, me who likes to have rituals around everything, like perhaps this year, this New Year's Eve, where we have to maybe be a little bit more subdued and, you know, we're not going to be surrounded by as many people. And, you know, we want to gently welcome 2021.
Right.
Perhaps a nice tradition to start. And I would invite you to carry this through to all of your New Year's, even the ones that are more exciting than this one. Maybe sit down and instead of thinking about all the ways that this year has been a dumpster fire, think about the good things that it's brought you. And I hope that even if this year has just felt like the worst, most awful thing to come into your life and you have lost people you loved and you have had job loss, financial challenges, sick family members. There's so many things. Mm-hmm. But I hope that somewhere in there has been even just the tiniest kernel of something that felt like a good moment, and to look for that good moment and to carry the energy of that good moment into 2021 instead of all of the other things. Yeah. But I hope that for all of us, there was some good in there. I know, in fairness, there have been many good things that have happened to me in this year, and I'm grateful for them. And I am grateful to have a friend like Lori to have a good time with. Look at how emotional we're being. And I'm really grateful for this podcast. It's been so much fun, and it's been so much fun to share with people and to know that it has brought people some enjoyment in a bit of a dreary year.
Yeah, and I would love to tell you guys, like, oh my God, we have so much planned for 2021. And like we do, we have like a nice, tidy Google spreadsheet. My type anus. Yeah, I did. I said type anus. Type A-ness. My type anus.
True story. My brother has a shirt that says Does anal retentive have a hyphen?
I think it does. The editor in me says it does.
There's the type A person.
So I'd love to be able to like give you guys a sneak peek about what we're looking forward to in 2021. I can't do that. I can't overpromise. So all I'm going to tell you is the spreadsheet is a really good one. I'm not exactly sure where we're going from here, but it's going to be super fun. And we hope that you continue to listen and support us and reach out on social media. We are very, very active on social and we love engagement with you guys. We love talking to you guys. If you have suggestions for show ideas, we're here for them. And we love you, love you, love you. We love you 100.
We love you very, very much. And we wish you a very happy new year and a very happy 2021. But please, gently welcome it in.
Ever so softly.
And no kissing people outside of your bubble. I'm sorry. I just can't stop being a nurse.
But you can have sex at midnight.
Please do. If that will help us, please. Take one for the
What
team.
if it was the answer?
Right. Like forget how many people we need vaccinated. How many people have to have sex at the stroke of midnight?
You're a midwife. You might be super busy come October because pregnancy is 10 months, people. I don't care what they say. It's 40 weeks.
No, this is a thing. I believe that it's September 16th or 17th is like the most common birthday because
I have
get a little technical here because 38 weeks prior to that is Christmas. And you're like,
a son with
weeks.
A mid-September birthday.
So we know what you were doing. And because 40 weeks is how long a pregnancy lasts, but that is counting 2 weeks where you really weren't pregnant. Like that's not when the pregnancy happened.
Yes.
So 38 weeks from Christmas is mid-September. And yes, the midwives are super busy. Like it is known. Like we're always like, oh, happy holidays. We'll see you in September.
Get ready for the baby boom.
Yeah. So, do your part. Support a midwife. Have sex New Year's Eve. It'll be great. Thank you for joining us for this very special episode of the Untitled Gen X podcast. If you can't wait to hear more, please subscribe so you never miss an episode. And because we are still newbies in this space, if you'd leave us a rating and review wherever you listen, it would mean everything.
You can find us on the web at theuntitledgenxpodcast.com. We're also on social media, on Instagram and Facebook at The Untitled Gen X Podcast. We hope you keep in touch, beautiful people. Bye!
Happy New Year!
Woohoo!